Well, Dr. Kalbfuss had a small struggle with his conscience, and he won. He's deserted his New York office, and he's already embarked on his Hollywood pilgrimage as we open on Act 2, Malice in Wonderland.
Listen, Goldie, you call my writers. You tell them I want to break down the massacre sequence by 4 o'clock. What do you mean they haven't had their lunch? You tell them to go back in their hutch and I'll send in a lettuce leaf.
I had a great idea for your picture, Mr. Spindrift. You know where Vera Ruber Ralston is being eaten by the ants?
Look, Maury, just make with the bay rum.
Pardon me, but is Mr. Spindrift, the producer, here?
Randy Kalbfuss, I'd know that voice anywhere. You old mumser, you. Randy Kalbfuss?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm fine. It's very good to see you again.
Well, what do you think of Hollywood?
Well, the minute I got off the airplane, I checked into the Garden of Valor, and then I called you.
Oh, I know, but you must have formed some impressions, huh?
Well, I do detect a slight sense of confusion.
Oh?
On my way over here, an old hermit in a pillowcase tried to tell me the world was coming to an end, and when I objected, he sold me a box of figs.
Oh, you get used to it.
And just now, I could have sworn I saw Jack Benny on Hollywood Boulevard. He was in a sleigh with real reindeer.
Well, you probably did. Say, have you had anything to eat?
Just these figs.
Well, that's more than I've had.
Oh, brother, when Dr. Wormser suggested you for technical advice for my picture,
You're gonna knock me down with a Fledermaus. My old college pal, Porky Kalbfuss.
Yeah. Well, you see, the fuddle presented a challenge.
Tower.
Oh, yes, of course. You know, I welcome the opportunity to see Hollywood.
The fuddle was just the working title of our picture. We're thinking on calling it The Wind and the Pillows. The scene with the caraway seeds is out. We did some research. They didn't even have caraway seeds then.
When?
In medieval Serbia, of course. Why, didn't you read the script?
Well, I understood that to be appomattox.
Everybody's a writer.
I'll get your mud mask.
You've certainly done wonderfully well, Norm. You, a big Hollywood producer.
It hasn't all been beer and skittles, Randy. There's a great deal of resentment in this town when a college man gets ahead. Sometimes I think if I didn't have my painting. Oh, which reminds me, I sent you and your wife an invite to my one-man show.
Oh, now, you know, Beryl wasn't able to make it this trip.
You know, I had a premonition that was going to
Really?
happen. I got your date for tonight.
Oh, now, I don't think that Beryl
You
would
like
approve.
Audrey. She's an extra girl, one of my pictures.
Look, I'm not tuned in on actresses,
Now, don't
Norm.
give me that new Joe. Take her out and buy her a blue plate and a couple of beers. You can talk to Audrey. She's not one of those China dolls.
I got your message, Mr. Spindrift.
You see what I mean? Hiya, Snookum. I want you to meet an old college pal of mine, Randy Kalbfuss. Randy is Audrey Meredith.
Hello, Randy. Why hasn't Norman brought you around before?
Well, you see, I just got off the airplane.
Oh, you're from the East. Well, I just adore people from the East. There's so much more to them.
Well, that's not the Far East, just New York.
You have that suave, cosmopolitan look. I spotted it right away.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, you pick me up at home at about 8. That's 6400 Aorta Road, 2 blocks west of Scrimshaw Drive in Sherman Oaks. You can't miss it. There's a laundromat with a thatched roof on the corner.
6400 Aorta Drive. Strange, but that sounds like a familiar address.
Well, lots of picture people lived in the house before us. There was Rance Gantry, the Western actor, Forrest Bruegel, the composer. Anyhow, see you later.
Isn't she a nice person?
Tall girl, isn't she?
You poor man, you got dreadfully lost, didn't you?
Yes, I wound up in a place called Eagle Rock, Matterhorn Avenue.
I know. Easterners always wind up there. Come in, won't you?
Yes, I think we better. You'll catch your death out here.
Isn't Norman a doll? He let me take the stress out of wardrobe just for you. Don't you adore it? That's authentic Spanish. You know, we completely overdid the place when we rented it. Every piece has its own history.
It certainly smacks of the past.
Thank you. See that fireplace? I can't remember the name of the monastery it came out of. Well, you'd know it if you heard it. And here's our most precious piece, Mommy. This is Mr. Kalfas, dear.
Who?
From back home, the gentleman I was telling you about.
I don't recall his face, but sit down anyways, young man.
Well, if you don't mind, I think we have
Sit
to...
down.
How about one quick little drinky first? A liqueur? I hope you like chartreuse. Mommy and I simply adore it.
Oh, well, no, thank you. I want to
What
have...
part of the South you from, Mr. Conroy?
New York, Mommy. Mr. Kalfas is from New York.
No need to be hoity-toity about it. Lots of people are. My daughter, Mr. Claprock's descended from one of the earliest families in Georgia.
Well, now, honey, he's not interested in hardly any.
My paternal great-grandfather founded the first turpentine business in the state. We got papers to prove it.
Well, I'd certainly like to look at them someday when I have a little more
That
time.
was all before I come out here. I'll give up a great deal to further my daughter's career, Mr. Claptrap.
Well, I'm sure that she is proud and happy that
Oh,
she did.
you are you? Well, you ought to hear her cuss me out sometime. You wouldn't talk that way to a mule.
Now, honey, you entertain Mr. Kalfas. I'll get my wrap.
She's brung home some Lulus, but you take the cake.
Well, it takes all kinds of people to make a world.
I suppose you're married, too. They're all married.
Mommy!
All right. Go on out dancing and hugging and kissing while I sit here. A banquet for the mosquitoes.
I take it you don't care for the climate.
Listen to me, young man. I was born and raised in a swamp, 18 feet below sea level. I never had a sick day. I come out here, I step off that Greyhound bus, take one deep breath, and go into acidotic coma. They give me 3 cc's of Magenda's solution. They made a Goodman's incision, and I went into Chain Stokes breathing. Every specialist in boil eyes gave me up.
Well, you must have a very strong constitution, ma'am.
I had a nickel for all the high colonics. I'd be a rich woman.
Are you ready, Randy? We must be moving on, Lammy. Can you get upstairs by yourself?
I can. Make sure you can.
Well, it's been wonderful talking to you, ma'am. I hope sometime soon we can go out
Ah,
again.
shut up.